1.3 circles. This is part 2. We are going to take the standard form of a circle, which we learned last time, and multiply it out. Okay, so there's the example there, x plus 3, y minus 2 equals 16, and we'll multiply that out and get this long equation, and then simplify it to x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 4y plus 4 equals 16, and any circle can be written like this. Okay, so that is called the general form, which is different from the standard form. So that's the vocab word for today. The general form of the equation of a circle can be written x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c equals 0. And you can switch between the general form and the standard form by completing the square. So here's a step down here. If you have the general form, which is really hard to do anything with, you can get it over here into the standard form by using completing the square. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. Okay, so here's example 4. Graph the equation x plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y plus 12 equals 0. So this is in general form, and we need to switch it to standard form. So let me just get to that page real quick. Okay, remember we need to complete the square in order to do this. So the first thing we need to do is we need to group the x values together and the y values together. So we're just going to rewrite this as x squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 6y, and then we need to get the number value on the other side. And this is how we can start completing the square. So we can complete the square here, and then we can also complete the square here. So for these x values, remember we need to get negative b over 2. Oh, I'm sorry, just b over 2 squared. So let me do that in a different color so it makes more sense. And for these x values, that's this value right here. So that's 4 over 2 squared, which is 2 times 2, which is 4, positive 4. And then right here for the y's, we need b over 2 as well, which is this negative 6. Don't forget the negative. But it doesn't matter because negative 3 times negative 3 is going to give you positive 9. And remember, we need to add that to this side. We need to add that 4 here, and then we need to add the 9 here, and then we have to add both of those to the other side as well, because whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. All right, and then remember our rule for completing this square. If we have x squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared, which we have, we can rewrite that as x plus b over 2 squared. So that means this can be rewritten as x plus, and remember our b over 2 was right up here before we squared it, was 4 over 2, which is 2. And then for this one, we can rewrite it as y, and then remember our b over 2 is actually this value here, which is negative 3. So we need our minus 3. Don't forget your negative there, because it was negative before we squared it. And then this side is just positive 1. So now we can graph this, because it's asking us to graph it. So now we know that HK, which is our center, is this right here. It was x minus h, so that means that our h is negative 2, and y minus k, so that means our k is positive 3. And our radius squared is 1, which means our radius is also 1, because the square root of 1 is 1. And then now we can graph that. So I can just do it over here. So we need to get to negative 2. All right, -2, +3 is right here. That's our center. And then we need to go 1 down, 1 to the right, 1 up, and 1 to the left. And that's our circle because it's a radius of 1. And we need to plot, I don't have a lot of room there to show all the points, but this middle one was -2, 3. This one on the edge here is -1, 3. This one's -2, 4, -2, 2, and -3, 3. And that's our circle. All right, example 5. Okay, our last example for today is graph the equation, which looks very similar to the one above. So we're just going to do the same thing, put all our x's together and all our y's together. And put your number value on the other side. And then here we need to recognize that we can actually divide out a 4 everywhere and get rid of it. So actually we can rewrite this. If we divided everything by 4 on both sides, we can rewrite it as x squared minus 4x. Then we have to divide 36 by 4 as well. So when we divide the 4 on both sides, it actually goes away, and this is what we're left with, which now we can do completing the square, because remember, you cannot do completing the square unless there's nothing in front of the x squared and nothing in front of the y squared values. So now I'm going to find my b over 2 squared, which is this value. Don't forget the negative, that comes in handy later. So I'm going to rewrite this right here as -2. -2 times -2 is +4. And then same thing here, b over 2. This one's +6. So I'm going to write that down. B over 2 is 3. And then 3 squared is 9. Okay, so we need to add that to both sides. So we need to rewrite this side as x squared minus 4x and then add our 4. And the same with the y. Add our 9. And then we cannot forget to also add both of those things to this side over here. And then remember, we can rewrite this nicely as x plus b over 2, or sorry, x plus b squared, b over 2 squared, and our b over 2 is right here as -2, so -2. And the same thing here, we can rewrite it as y, and then our b over 2 was +3, so +3, and then this side becomes 22. And then that is our final answer. And then this one we don't have to graph. We were just, I don't know why I wrote that. This one we are just finding the equation in standard form. So we know that our HK value, our center, is going to be that +2. And remember this -3, because it'd be y minus -3. And then our r squared value is 22. So our r value is going to be the square root of that, which is a decimal.